Hey y'all, it's Diana at the Dianaverse, and I'm here today to talk about the full moon in Sagittarius lunation for the next 2 weeks. I am doing that a day late. The full moon was actually yesterday, but I'll talk about that some more when I get started. First of all, I'd like to tell you about some herbal classes that I'm doing this summer. Over the summer, I'm going to be teaching on Monday mornings on Vashon Island for Mindset Apothecary, which is a beautiful space. She's been a student of mine before when she was in the program with someone else, and came across her apothecary, stayed in touch over Instagram, whatever, and it's a really beautiful space. So if you're in the Seattle, Vashon, Olympic Peninsula area, it's a great thing to do if you're free on Monday mornings. I'll be teaching all kinds of stuff. The first class will be hydrosols, and then I will do some basic herbalism classes. So if you want to up your game, maybe you've been dabbling, but now you want to get a little more technical or learn about the different ways to use herbs, this is a great series of 3 classes for you. Also going to be doing natural dyes. So this will be a beginning level of natural dyes. I'll approach it from 3 different areas. So we'll have just dyes in general, how to mordant, how to do your dye, all of that information so you can successfully do some natural dyes. Then we will be talking the food scrap dyes, because those are ever popular online, so you can see what works and what really doesn't work. And then I'll be doing an indigo class, so it'll be a lot of fun. And then there'll be some other herbalism classes after that, more things that you can make and get into. So go to Mindset Apothecary. I'll put the link below to see the schedule and if you want to register, and hope to see some of you there because it's a lot of fun. And Vashon is wonderful. They have parks and little stores. It's quaint. You can do a daycation. It's really fun. Okay, so I just want to say that my video editor has gotten pickier about the size of my videos, so I will probably just directly upload these so that you can get them faster. It's less work for me without the, front moving page, whatever. I'm just going to load up the videos because it's gotten kind of cumbersome to deal with the editing. Okay, so full moon in Sagittarius. That's a lot of fun. Sagittarius is a fun-loving sign. It's a fire sign, and it's an idealistic sign. So it's that archer, the centaur that's the archer pulling back his bow and aiming for his goals. So Sagittarius, if you know Sagittarius people, they are always invested in the truth, right? What's going on? Like, what's the best plan? How do I reach my goals? And can be a little fiery. Like if they think a certain thing, other people should, of course, be thinking that thing. So that can be the shadow side, that they have to correct people sometimes. So watch out for that sort of thing with the Sagittarius energy coming in. Now, if we were looking at the other side of the year, when we have the Sagittarius sign over there in like November, December, there are often festivals of lights all over the world because it can be a darker part of the year. I'm talking Northern Hemisphere because Southern Hemisphere is the opposite. But we've got our shortest days, and there have often been traditionally festivals of light where there's candles and things that they bring in to make everything kind of sparkle, to kind of ease into that dark part of the year. So this is a very optimistic sign, a very go-getting sign, a very positive. If they believe in something, they will go all out. And if they believe in you, they will go all out for you. So this is a great quality to tune into as we're getting into our 2 weeks here. Now, I am late with making the video. The full moon was yesterday. To be fair to me, the moon only went into Sagittarius right before it got full. And so it will be full for the next day or two. And I'm going to say that Mostly I was distracted. I did think of doing the video, and then I had all these things that I was doing at my house. I've been super busy the last couple of days, so like that fiery energy going. And I just kind of forgot. I got up this morning and I was like, oh shoot, I never did a video by yesterday. I think that this is also indicative of some other stuff going on in the sky. So there are things moving into Gemini. We have the sun in Gemini right now. And so it's Gemini season. Happy birthday to all my Geminis. We also have some outer planets going into Gemini. So, and personal planets. Venus is moved into Gemini right after the full moon. So Venus is now more flirty, more vocal, putting herself out there. So anything that you have to do with relationships or self-care routines, like there's just going to be a lot of distractions out there, you know, that can be like, oh, look at the pretty sparkly thing, right? Geminis are a little famous for that, the squirrel energy. So with Venus there, yeah, things with relationships, things about your appearance, you can be wanting to change things up, talk things out. The idea of it can be enough. Like, I'm going to think about all these different things, and then you may not even do them. It's more like exploring the possibilities that's really exciting for Gemini. Of course, we all have other things in our chart. So this is like a gross characterization. No, it's not caricaturization. That's hard to say. Gemini loves words too. So, you know, that's an overstatement of what Geminis are like. But it's just to kind of like throw out those qualities there. Of course, we have other things in our chart. So even if you're a Gemini, you may have other things that balance that out. But I did notice that squirrel energy yesterday, like, I was doing this, I was doing that, I want to finish this, I want to do that. I have a whole list, right? Did I accomplish all those things? Of course not. And I have a whole list today, and I had a list 2 days ago. It's like, ooh, that buzzing energy of that moon right now. So you could easily get off topic. You could easily forget to do things. You could easily be distracted from what you should be doing by something else that's more fun over there, right? So as we get on with this particular weekend, we're going to have other things moving. Taurus. Jupiter in Taurus has been there for like a year-ish. Jupiter stays in a sign for about a year. And it's at the very last degree by this weekend. It's going to cross over. I think it's this weekend. I didn't double check the exact time, but that's what I remember. It's going to be crossing into Gemini, and it's going to be in Gemini. So whatever energy we have going on, this is going to carry forward over like the next year to some degree. It'll like be the most at the beginning, the first couple months, and then it'll kind of wane for a bit. We'll be settled in, and then it'll come back towards in about a year as it's getting to the end of Gemini, and it wants to do all the things before it moves on to another sign. So you might want to look in your own natal chart and see where Jupiter is to see where this is happening in your chart. So this isn't really the sign that Jupiter necessarily likes to be in. It's considered in its detriment in this sign. Jupiter makes things bigger, but in Gemini that can be sort of unfocused. It can just be like things looming, looking bigger than they are. If you have any tendencies towards depression or anxiety, it can increase that. If you have trouble focusing, like, you know, your attention, you struggle with that, this can really like kind of blow that up and point it out. And so the best way to approach that is to have a support network. Gemini loves networking. Have friends that'll support you with that, who can either keep you on track or listen to you vent when things kind of derail, so that you can kind of use that space to just get back on track. Or if you really need to get some professional help, there's lots of herbs. That's not the herbs I actually am thinking about so much for this month. I'm doing mint this month, and you could use something like skullcap. That is really great for anxiety in a way that it like it's mints are considered in Chinese medicine to be herbs that release to the exterior. So it can help you like release all that nervous energy and then kind of relax. So you can use it that way. Yeah, so there's big, just looking at my chart, there's big Gemini energy going on for the next 2 weeks, definitely, and into the next year, actually. So the tarot card that I pulled is Two of Swords. Perfect for it's actually ruled by Venus in Libra, which is another air sign, but perfect for the air sign time, because Gemini is an air sign, and Venus is in Gemini. So swords are considered air energy in the tarot. So that can be thoughts, that can also be words when we're talking about swords. It can be someone saying one thing and doing another. I see plenty of examples of that in our politics, right? It can be thinking one thing and then actually doing another thing because you feel like that's what you have to do. So you can be of two minds in a way. It can be talking without thinking first. So I invite you to kind of relax into the Libra vibe. Venus in Libra along this card, but Venus is in Gemini. So relax into the Venus thing of like not saying more than you need to sometimes, just thinking and being a little more laid back, because your words can be like swords. You know, you might not be thinking that much about how you're saying something, but that can really wound another person and therefore wound yourself because it wounds your relationship with that person. So I would invite you to try not to get caught up in any kind of gossiping or just like running on where you're not thinking about what you're saying. I feel like I've said that a lot the last few lunations for different reasons. One thing that we have going on is there is a three-way energy thing with Saturn and Pisces. Saturn and Pisces, I've done some descriptions of in my last few podcasts, but what I was thinking of at the moment is how Saturn, can see things that need to be done. It's like, if I want to get this done, I have to do this. But then it can get kind of wishy-washy in Pisces, where it never actually quite gets the energy to get it done. So I've been thinking somewhat about that. Now, that is supported at this time by, is that Venus? Sorry, I didn't wear my glasses. Where does that line go? Jupiter. It's Jupiter, right. As Jupiter moves into Gemini, it's giving some support to that Saturn. They're kind of mutually supporting each other, that Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces wants the greater good, right? It wants everybody to be happy. It wants everyone to be comfortable. It wants a nice, cuddle puddle. After you get the work done, let's all have a hug, right? So that Jupiter, even though it's a bit uncomfortable, so there's a little bit of like awkwardness to this lunation, because Jupiter is not that comfortable in Gemini, but sometimes being uncomfortable pushes you to where you actually do the thing, or you actually say what needs to be said, and so things actually get worked out and they work. Now, this is also tied between, because the Saturn is kind of the fulcrum point of this three-way thing, with this moon that we had. So there can be some things in our close relationships with our mothers. For some reason that's coming up. Sometimes mothers critique us and they really are just trying to push us to do better. But we take it as a wound, right? Like, I'm criticized, I'm not good enough, right? There can be some of that going on with that Saturn and Pisces. So there's a lot of dynamic tension between these three planets. And if you approach it from a heart place, you can try to sift out what the person is trying to really say. It doesn't always make it feel better. But I think there can be a positive outcome with all of this energy if you're open to changing your perspective. And Gemini is a great thing for that, because Gemini is the two-headed god, right? Looking back forwards and backwards. So you can see more perspectives. You can see more sides of the coin during this time. And so use that energy for that rather than fighting with people, having to be right. Sagittarius can do that. If you hear yourself being very critical of yourself, try to see it from the other person's perspective and see if it shifts how you're feeling about it, how you're seeing it. Now we've also got Pluto in the mix. Pluto is connected to the sun right now, and so Pluto also is not the most comfortable energy, but it wants to change things up, and it's attached to that Gemini right now, that Gemini season. So it's really a great thing to do, to have some patience, the Venus, and then try to see things from other people's point of view, or even change your own perspective. Sometimes we've carried a story around. Gemini can be stories. Are you still telling the same story that happened however long ago, right? And could you see that from a different way? And I know in the spiritual community you hear that a lot. It almost becomes cliche, but sometimes you can really shift your energy and release some trauma that you're holding in your body. And Moon and Sagittarius, dance, work it out of your body, sweat it off, get to the gym, just move it like that. So like I said, for the herbs for this month, I'm gonna recommend mints to help us keep things flowing, keep things moving. I think it's a great herb to go with Gemini, especially things like skullcap that help you with your mental movement, mental anxiety. And I'm working with just regular garden mint, but we're changing seasons, right? We're going to be heading into summer, so it's good to move the energy and keep things going. For the crystal, what I'm working with at the moment is Himalayan pink salt. It is a salt in rock form. On my altar, I've got like a tea light behind it, so it shines through it, so I get some of that fire energy moving through there. The pink reminds me to stay in my heart, to look at other people's perspectives. And salt can be very grounding. Salt can also dispel negativity. And this was actually gifted to me from Marty at Mindset Apothecary, who I'm going to be teaching with the last time I was in her store. She very generously gifted me a whole box of these chips, which I love, and I'm using them on my altar to keep my energy positive and forward moving. So those are my recommendations. I hope you get something out of this, and take care for the next 2 weeks until I see you at the new moon. All right, take care, y'all. Bye.